Hey, this is Mike Addis. Thanks for joining me. I finally got the landscape going here. And I'm walking along. Guess where I'm walking? Along the beach. I'm going to do great videos coming up on real estate investing. You're going to love it. Mostly about why you should not lease. People are always saying, don't lease your house. That makes absolutely no sense. That's totally nuts. Why do they tell you not to lease it as opposed to buy the house? Your own house, I'm talking about. Because they want you to give them your money. Let's say you buy a $500,000 house. You got to put 10% down. They want that $50,000 for themselves, so they can invest it for you. You know who I'm talking about, right? Uncle Grant Cardone. He's in love with leasing your house. I'm going to go over numbers in the second video, or a continuation of this video. Watch out! And I'm going to talk to you why owning your own house is 10 times more profitable than leasing your house. However, it depends on where you live. These guys like Robert Kiyosaki, they talk in gross generalities. There's 1 million markets in the United States of America. 1 million markets. Every market is different. Some of them are in generalized, you could say Southern California. The average house near the coast is 1 million, but it's not. Some of them are 2 and 3 and 4 and 10 million. Gates bought a house down the street from where I live for 25 million. The house is twice the size, but still 25 million is a big difference from 1.3 million. So this is just a prelude to the video. And I'm going to go over that video. Here, we can take a look at the ocean while we're walking. I'm going to go over this video, and it's going to be a little longer because this is a prelude to why you should own your own house as opposed to leasing it. And I'm going to show you where I'm going to make 50% return on my investment, where leasing it, you're not going to make practically anything. Okay, so stay tuned. We're going to continue on this video from North San Diego County near the ocean. There's the ocean. Yoo-hoo! I know Florida is great, but I know people live in Miami. They even think it's better here. North San Diego is the best place to live, I think, in the United States, probably in the world. I talk to people from all over the world, and that's what they tell me. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and don't forget to hang on for the rest of the video. Hey, this is Mike Addis. Thanks again for joining this video. So we're back from the beach. You saw a little prelude to this video. It's going to be a little longer video. I'm sure he's going to splice it and dice it, my buddy Rohit. So the conversation's about whether you should own or lease your own property. Well, there's a lot of guys out there say don't own the house that you live in. That doesn't make any sense to me. My return on my invested capital owning my own house is well over anything. Grant Cardone's a perfect example. I'm not picking on Grant Cardone. I'm going after anybody. But that's what he says. He says if you own your own house, then you're a sucker. It doesn't give you any return on invested capital. It's totally untrue. Doesn't make any sense at all. Let me give you an example. A house that I bought 2 years ago, actually 2 years this May, it's now April, so let's say 24 months ago, it's actually 23 months, I bought the house for $950,000 near the ocean in a town called Carlsbad, California. That's $950,000 bet. I had to put 10% down, a little more than 10% because you have closing costs. But let's say 10% of $950,000 is $95,000. So let's just say $100,000, a little more than that, but let's keep the numbers round. Like Danny DeVito says, I like round numbers, okay? And other people's money. So now I've got $100,000 invested in the house. I had to do upgrades and things like that, but we'll get to that in a second. The $950,000 house was appraised yesterday. I just got the number in on April 12th, 2021. And the value of the house has gone from $950,000 to $1,275,000. That's a $325,000 return on a $100,000 bet. If I had leased this house, I'd have to lease it for somewhere around $4,000 to $4,500 a month. That would be a cash outlay of $4,500 a month. So the money that I'm currently paying on the mortgage on this house, I'm getting a tax benefit from owning the house and paying the interest. It reduces the money that I bring in. So my return on my investment of $100,000
And a $325,000 return is 225% over 2 years. That's 112.5%. So let's say 112% is my average return on owning my house. The average return, for example, Cardone Capital, if you give him the money, the average return is going to be somewhere around 6 to 10%. Maybe you'll hit 15%. And you got to keep the money in the fund for about 10 years. At least that's what I've read. I don't know if it's true. I'm not picking on this guy. I'm just talking about all the other people out there to tell you it's nuts to own your own house. You want to own the house you live in. Ownership means I live here. This is mine. I have a debt. I'm paying the bank. Okay, no problem. So the pundits say, well, you get no income off of owning a house. Wrong. That's another misconception. So number one, you want to own your own house. Why? Because the values of the houses are appreciating like crazy, especially where I live. My market is not the same as your market. You may be in a totally different market. There's 42,000 zip codes in the United States, meaning there's 42,000 real estate markets, so it depends on the one of the 42,000 that you happen to be living in. Okay? So number one, you want to own your own house. Number two, you can make a return and make cash on the property, but the return on investment on my house in the last 24 months has been an average of over 100% a year, conservatively. So that's number two. So I'm making money on paper. Number three, 33% of this house, or 1,000 square feet, is a 3,000 square foot house, is the company works. I have companies that work exclusively in those spaces, and those companies pay me rent. I thought they said a house didn't make you any money. Totally wrong. The rent on this house is about $2,500 a month. So the corporation, Hemispheres Trade, pays me $2,500 a month to rent the space of the house that I own. I'm the landlord. I own the house. The corporation that I have is the tenant. The tenant pays me. I'm the landlord of my own house. So that means I get a cash flow of $2,500 a month. 2,000 times 12 months is 24 grand. 5 times 12 is 6. That's 30 grand. 30,000 cash inflow I'm getting. When you include my tax benefits that I get from the interest, this is number 4, so interest tax benefits, and you add that to the income that I'm making absolutely no payment. I live in the house almost free. I thought they said you should lease your house. I think it said leasing your house is for suckers. That's what Grant said. No, that's totally and completely not true. Maybe he's thinking something else, like maybe you'll take the 100 grand and get 10% return on him. Well, I'm making 100%. Why am I going to invest and get 10% when I'm making 100? Plus, I'm making 30 grand a year on a $100,000 bet. That means I'm making 30 grand cash income percent, right? $30,000, $100,000 bet. Plus, I got an appreciation of 100% a year. I'm making 130% of my money. Go figure. Why they? I have no idea. This is Mike Addis. Thanks for joining me. We're going to talk more about real estate investing in the future, but you want to own your own house. Forget about that leasing your own house. That doesn't make any sense because the pride of ownership is way more valuable than money. Okay, let's do a recap on this one. This is an important video. It really is an important video because a lot of people out there, pundits, gurus, famous people, they're saying you never own your own house. You're supposed to lease it. Number one, that's totally. Oh, that's not. This is number one. The return on my investment on my own house in California. It's near the ocean. Of course, there's 47,000 zip codes, which means there's 47,000 markets approximately in the United States. You have to look at your own market. The return on my invested capital, as I mentioned in the video, is over 100%. Number one. Number two, I get cash income on my property of $30,000 a year. So with the $100,000 investment, that's a 30% return cash, plus the 100% appreciation. It's 130% I'm making on the property. That's number two. Okay. Number three, you really want to own your own property. Why? Because there's a pride of ownership in owning your own property. There's something about making you stable. You have to have a foundation. You have to have a base. That's number three. And number four, there's all kinds of tax benefits. You got to check with your tax accountant. And those are the top four. Comments. Let me know what you think. If you hate the video, great. If you love the video, that's good too. Either way. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you on the next video.